Dan Brooks Wells. I've been playing disc golf for about 4 years competitively, about 8 years before that on and off. And we're at Jordan Park in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. My home course, great course, I love it here. Always love coming back home. One of my high school buddies, he went to Westchester, went to school in Westchester, came back, and he was part of the Ultimate Team. And someone on his team told him to check out disc golf. Bought some discs from Played Against Sports or Dick's Sporting Goods and figured it out on our own at Wares Dam, which is a beginner course, but it's a good beginner course. Like many people, my first disc was a Champion Groove because you just thought it was going to go far, driver, and I threw it about 50 feet every time I tried, and we finished a round and we were so frustrated that I picked it up and I threw a flick like I would throw a baseball sidearm, and it went like 250 feet, and I went, okay, new game, let's go, we're going again. Once my buddy showed me disc golf, I thought, this is something I can go do on my own all the time or bring anybody I want. It was just so flexible with timing and with skill level and expense. I was a college student, you don't have any money, so it was a great sport to get into. When I went to East Stroudsburg, they had a course, Yetter, up there, and I would just go there in between classes or when I was done and just have a good time in the woods, throwing around a Frisbee and trying to best myself, not knowing any of the club scene or that anybody else really played. Practicing on football fields and just having the time of my life, just throwing around plastic, not caring about anything else. Funny story, I was coming down on a hole at East Stroudsburg, and I got down to this path, hole 14 at Yetter, and I looked up and there was a bear. I started to back away and it was coming at me, and I dropped my bag and started backing away even faster. It started trotting at me, so I just took off down the path. Some people say like stand your ground or yell, or all right, let's see what you do when you're faced with a bear. I just took off, and I actually ran into Mike Pack, who introduced me to the Lehigh Valley disc golf scene, and that's when I really started realizing, like, hey, people are into this and there's a community around this, and it is fun, and people just come here to have fun, and it's a good time. And there's a competitive side. There's some really good players that can help boost skill. So once I figured that out, instead of studying for classes, I would be in the library looking up disc golf videos, Dave Feldberg and Schustrick and Doss and all those guys just giving clinics, and then I would take notes because I'm still a good student and I would go out to the field and just practice those notes and just work on my game like that. All my friends are disc golfers now, or most of them anyway. It's like a family. We travel together, we go all over. It keeps you in it. It's more than just the competitive side of the game. I'm really into the competitive side, but if someone's not, you don't have to be. It's just a blast to be around the community, and no matter where you go, it feels like disc golfers are always just so welcoming. When I moved up to New York for work, the first thing I wanted to do was get involved in the local disc golf scene, and I was integrated within a month or two, going to putt clubs and leagues, and it's just amazing wherever you go. I think it's like anyone else's bag as far as like when you first start, you think drivers are what you need to go far, and you think the high-speed stuff is what you need. So I was throwing destroyers and cranks and forces and everything like that, and you realize I don't have the power for this, I don't have the ability for this yet. So you start to disc down, you start to throw mids and putters, and I actually started with MVP at East Stroudsburg, and I branched out into Innova and Dynamic and Prodigy, and you just want to try everything. Like really, you're so intrigued by all the different plastics and molds, and everything. You got to try it all. That's where the addiction comes in, really. Eventually, I found my way back to MVP. You know, I was fortunate enough that they gave me a sponsorship, and you know, I'm very grateful for that. And I couldn't be happier with it. You know, it was cool to come back to it. Disc golf is one of those sports where it's not going to keep you in shape playing. I actually equate it to baseball a lot, where you got to be in shape to play it, but it's not going to keep you in shape. Disc golf's the same way. You gotta be in shape. It takes a toll on your body. After playing Green Mountain and then Maple back to back, I was actually hurting a little bit. Any other sport that you go to, the whole team's warming up. Baseball, football, anything. The whole team, everybody's warming up, and not just like throwing discs, but stretching, go for a little jog, like get your body ready. I think that has to do with just the evolution of the game as well, taking it more seriously, taking yourself more seriously, getting ready to compete, not just have fun, but to compete. A lot of us, I think, have a certain lifestyle that we don't want to give up, and to tour, it's definitely a different lifestyle. Like talking to some of the traveling pros and seeing how they live and seeing, you know, how they survive, it's inspiring to see what they do. They're very intuitive and they make it work, and a lot of them seem to be having a lot of fun, and it's just a good time. But you know, some of them live in their car. They house hop, and you know, they do what they got to do to survive and to make it, to live this lifestyle. And it's just tough. It's tough financially. You got to budget. You definitely have to budget very carefully. And the stress of, if I miss this putt, I miss out on 200 or 300 bucks or something like that. It's kind of frightening when you think about it that way. You know, 300 bucks to get you to your next event or to have a meal. You know, that's a lot of stress on a game. It was just like any other event that, you know, some of the local pros and I go up to, or just to have fun. It's a vacation. Smuggler's Notch is beautiful. We just want to go up there and have a good time. But we always talk about how it just takes one good first round and any of us can do it. It just so happened to happen. And it was just one of those rounds where every putt was hit and everything was clicking, and I didn't really feel the pressure. Then it hit me after that round, like, oh, okay, this is for real now. This is no longer a vacation. I have to take this seriously. This is an opportunity that I might not ever get again. It was exciting, don't get me wrong, it was very exciting, and it's a dream, and it's what we play for, and everything that you could imagine. And it was the most stressful disc golf of my entire life. It really was. I mean, think about it. I'm sure a lot of people watching this, like, you see those guys on Jomez and Gatekeeper and Central Coast all the time, and I've been watching those guys for 5-6 years, and all of a sudden I'm playing with them, and it's all my hard work comes down to this. You know, don't screw it up. It all comes down to this. It was surreal. During the round, I still felt like a fan, like I'm watching Conrad and Macbeth and Dickerson throw those shots, and I'm just in awe on some of those shots, and got to come back down to earth, and it's like, all right, it's my turn to throw. I didn't realize the toll that these tournaments take on your body back to back. You know, all the practice rounds, everything that goes into it. That's a learning curve of mine. I got to understand how to be smarter when practicing, you know, like not throwing as many shots. And it's a lot of golf. It's a lot of fun too. It's hard not to. I remember talking to Carmen, you know, I went with him and Connor, who are both Discmania guys, and every day I was like, Mike, I'm not going to the course today. I can't do it. I'm tired. And he'd be like, just come. Or I'd be like, I'm going to go and just throw putters, I guess, on some of the and then I'd play anyway. You know, it's just, you can't go and just throw putters around Maple, right? Like, you got to play the course. having the season I had last year, what events am I going to go to now? When I went, I was lucky enough to, from GMC, get into USDGC and played with a lot of good players, asking them a lot of questions about their lifestyles and, what event should I go to? What's the event I need to go to if I were to pick one to go to the West Coast? And I got some good tips, and I'm trying to figure out what tournaments I'm going to go to next year. That's next on the menu. I want to hit, last year I hit 2 big ones, next year I want to hit 5. Something that I can say that I was very, something that made me the happiest about actually getting on Jomez and getting on the live coverage, I had family and friends who bought the package just to watch me that round. And, even then, even my parents they've never seen me actually play. And, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go out for a round, and they don't think twice of it. And now they're like, oh, this is a legit thing. I've seen him watching it. I've seen him watching that on YouTube when I come in the house, and now it's like a real thing, and my family and friends are aware of it, and they spread it out, and that's how it starts, right? It's all word of mouth type stuff. And it was cool to get the support from all the family and friends.